Well, my name's Mike. I own locksmithvideoschool.com, the website that we're looking at here in today's podcast. Now, today's podcast, we're going to be talking about Schlage deadbolts, a specific kind that was texted to me through our tech support. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about this video right here that's on my homepage at locksmithvideoschool.com. This video describes to you everything that comes with our course, how it's laid out, the whole 9 yards. But at probably about, I would say, about 30 minutes into this video, at the first part of this video, I talk to you about things that are critical that you need to know, things that are important that you need to know, and to stay away from information overload, which is so much information that you never get anything done. But about, I would say, maybe 33 minutes into this video, I talk to you about everything that comes with your course, the manual that I wrote that follows along each video, the tools that come with the course, the free manual that wasn't written by me that we give you along with the course, and I talk to you about technical support. Now, the way technical support works with us is, let's say you get out on a job and there's a Detex Model 11 alarm lock or whatever on a jewelry store and you can't figure out how to get it apart. Well, I can't teach you 40 plus years of my life in one training program, but what I can do is give you good phone tech support. And the way that works is you take a digital picture of it, you text it to me, and then call me and I will walk you through whatever it is. And that service is available to you as long as you need it. I mean, I've got guys that have texted me things that bought my course a long time ago. Well, like I say, we will never come to the place that we know everything in the lock business. The key is knowing somebody that knows that will help you. But anyways, I encourage you to watch this video. But the podcast today that we're going to talk about is about this deadbolt right here. So this locksmith that I have trained called me and said, "Mike, I can't get this deadbolt off the door." He said there's no screws on either side to take it off. Well, the first thing that entered my mind was he may be talking about a lorry deadbolt, which we talk about in another podcast, but I'm not going to go into that today. But no, it was a Schlage deadbolt. So the minute he told me that, I knew that because 20 plus years ago or whatever, I remember running into this deadbolt when it first came out, and I couldn't get it off the door. So, like I said, there's many suppliers that are written in our manual that will help you. So I called just one of my suppliers and I said, "Hey, there's a new Schlage deadbolt out and I can't get the thing apart." And then he told me how to do it, which I'm going to share with you here in just a second. But before we do that, let's look at the old style of Schlage deadbolt, which is this one right here on your screen. Now, those two plugs that you see that appear to be bolts, they actually are bolts, and behind those plugs is a Phillips head screw. They're basically about a 3-inch Phillips head screw, but they drive these little plugs into there to keep someone from breaking the glass, reaching in and unscrewing the deadbolt, and you know what that leads to, right? So here I am with an old style deadbolt, and I need to get this lock off the door because I need to change the pins in it to rekey it. So if you look carefully at this lock, you can see where other locksmiths, not very skilled I might add, have actually tried to get these pins out of there. You can see here where he's drove a ice pick up against the Phillips head screw and popped that out of there. Now that thing is really, really small. I mean, it doesn't look small on this image, but it is very small. And it has like a twist thread, almost like a screw. And what you do is you drive those flat, there's no way to unscrew that. You drive that into that Phillips head and it keeps someone from being able to unscrew the lock. But you've got to get it off to get it out. So there's two ways you can do that. Two ways I do it anyways. I take an ice pick and I put it right in between that where you see my mouse is. I drive it right in there and pop that out, and I cup my hand underneath the lock so that doesn't end up in the carpet or it doesn't go flying across the room. Now you got another issue. Or another way you can get these out of there is take a very, very small flathead screwdriver and push it in right there where the mouse is, and then just twist the screwdriver gently, and that will pop right out in your hand. Phillips head screw, and just unscrew it on both sides and put it back together. And when you drive those back in there, just use a mallet of some kind or the end of a rubber type of screwdriver. Don't use something that's going to mar the lock up, because we don't want to be known as a locksmith with that kind of skill. But anyways, let's go on over to the image that was sent to me. All right, this lock is, I want to say, a new Schlage deadbolt, but this is the way they're made now. But it's a double cylinder. Let's look at the inside of the lock. The inside of the lock, you can see from looking at this that this lock has been rekeyed multiple times. This, where it says Schlage, where my mouse is pointing, that is just an aluminum cap that is popped on there, and behind that cap are two very large bolts that actually hold this deadbolt on the door. Now, as you can take a good look at this and you can study it a little bit, you can see where whoever took this off, and probably many guys have, they either were in a hurry or just bad craftsmanship or whatever. They slam this cap back on here, and that's where consequently you have these marred marks on the lock, because the lock should have looked like this when he was done. So the way I get this off, you can see this, how it's even bent right here, right? To actually take an ice pick and I stick it right there underneath the keyhole, and I pry it loose just a little bit. Don't use a flathead screwdriver, because that's why the other locksmith bent this piece. You can see sort of kind of right there that it was, this has been beat up pretty good. But you take an ice pick and get it just to where it pulls out a little bit. Then you take your pocket knife and you go around the edge of this lock right here, and you pry this loose, undo those bolts, rekey it, you're done, you made good money. But when you go to put it back on, don't take a screwdriver that's you know, it's just a screwdriver that doesn't have any rubber on the handle, right? And beat it back on the door and call it a good day, because a customer comes along and it used to look like that and now it looks like that, and they go, wow, and you lose an account, or they never call you again. But that's how you get that off there. Just take a ice pick, stick it in there, or a dental tool of sorts, pull it, just barely pull it loose, then take a pocket knife and go around the edge of it, and try not at all to bend this or to mar it up like you can see has been done there. So anyways, that's today's podcast. I want to thank you for taking an interest and looking at this podcast. Visit my website. Make sure you watch this video. 47 minutes. I know it's a long time, but we talk about critical, important information overload, and then we get into the manual, the workbook, the free manual that we give you with the course, along with all the tools that come with the course. Watch this video. It'll be informative to you. So you guys have a great day, and I appreciate you. Talk to you soon.